I'm using my Gansai Tambi paint. So I'll give it a spritz, make sure it's all nice and wet. And I'm going to start with my base drawing. So I'm just going to start, he's a horned owl, he's got ears. So I'm just going to start with his shape at the top of his head and his feather ears. Make them a little bit rough, a little bit rougher, like that. And he's got quite a wide face. Comes out almost to where those ears are, like that. He's sort of looking back a little bit. Actually, I think I need to even widen them out a bit more, like that. It might take a little bit of adjustment to get him exactly where I want him. Where's my eraser gone? I did it again. Oh, found it. Whoops. Excuse me. I've just had to go and get my eraser. Okay, I think I'm happy with that-ish. Now his eyes. A bit of a gap where his beak is, like that. I'm going to widen that off again. It's going to be a little bit of adjusting back and forth. Oops. My phone camera didn't do its thing. Bear with me a second. Back to video. Hang on. Okay. Had to set that up again. Sorry about that, guys. I thought I was organised this morning. Apparently not. So I'm just going to draw his basic shape. So he disappears down his head. And his body is head, and his body is 2 times the length of his head, so that's about right. And I thought I'd use my Gansai Tambi paint because it's watercolour, but it's quite strong watercolour. It's a really vivid Japanese paint. It's really quite beautiful, and I haven't used it in ages, so that's what I thought I would do. And I would his little toe there like that. His front toes are sort of split like that. Okay, because they wrap right around the log. I'm just going to erase. That's where I've put his eyes because I'm not 100% happy with that, but he's sitting on his log. So I'll draw a very big log. So I'll just put that like that. Now, he's sort of facing back a little bit. So, come down here. This side comes down like that. Or the feathers around his eye. Got beautiful big irises there. Like that. His beak comes down to about in line with his neck, like that. Up here around his face, like that. All right, now he's got a line around the outside of his eye as well, which I can probably paint in, to be honest. That pupil is almost at the top of his eye. Just gonna take a little bit of fiddling and adjusting to get everything where I want it. I'm just going to move that one a fraction. Actually, no, that's all right. I'll leave that there. That's all right. It's about the same as the other eye. I've just got to make sure my eyes are the same size and the same angles. Like that. And he's got beautiful feathers. I'm actually going to draw the feathers, draw the detail. Down and around. He's got quite, well, his ears are bigger than I've got them. Or his feathers, they're actually just feathers, but they look like ears, I think. Like that. Then he's got his beautiful wings. They really are magnificent creatures. They are just gorgeous. You can just see this other wing over here. I used to be scared of drawing birds because I was scared of the feather detail, and the more I've done them, the more I love drawing them. So it's a good reason to practice what you don't know how to do, because when you figure it out, that usually becomes your favourite subject. I had to change that a fraction. He's got such beautiful texture on his feathers. Now I'll draw just the rough pattern of his feathers on his wing here. Then, excuse my little dogs in the background. These feathers overlap a little. Then he's got his longer feathers coming down here. They're quite round. Their feathers are very round and soft. I think that helps them stay quiet when they're flying, because you can barely hear it now. They're so stealthy. Okay. So his wing feathers coming down, his flight feathers. I'll erase this bit. Hear my dogs. Being sooky lalas they are. Okay, then he's got like a crease coming down here where his tummy is. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that for a sketch. So I'm going to start with the eyes because they're beautiful, and I thought that would be fun. So I'll sit my palette right there where you can see it. Grab my brushes, wet. I get a bit of cloth to clean my brush off with, and I'm going to go straight in with an orange. To make an orange, so I'll go yellow, a little bit of yellow. Oh, that bucket hasn't got water in it. That's a little bit of yellow. A little bit of red to make an orange. A little bit more yellow. This paint is just magnificent. It is so pigmented, and I haven't used it in so long. There we go. That's a beautiful orange. So I'm going to go a bit yellowy first. I'm going to do the base coat in this yellow. And I'm using a grained paper today. So it's called cold press. It's quite grainy. So the very base layer is that yellow, and then I'm going to put the orange over the top while it's still damp, and just let that flow in like that. Gives it a bit of interest. I might zoom in a little bit more for you on my camera up here. Here we go. Okay, I'm happy with that. I'm just going to go a little bit around the top of his iris. Like that. And I didn't leave the highlight. I didn't draw in the highlight, but I will. Now, he's got yellow ochre-y sort of a feathers on his face. So I'm going to go in with, get my, oh gosh, that's very wet. Go with my yellow ochre. Quite diluted. And I'll drag that around. Bear, what's the matter? Bear's being a noisy little muffin. And I've got to leave a little bit of white just around the outside edge of his eye there. Because he does have, and the white will be the white of the paper. Hello, douche, how are you? Can't wait to see what you get up to here, thank you. Yeah, so I'm using a quite opaque watercolour. It's a Japanese watercolour. It's beautiful. And I thought, you know what? I really want to do feathers today. I'm feeling feathery. So feathers it is. And how have you been, mate? What's been happening in Douchebaggins world? Douchebagginsville. What you been up to? Just going to blend that around, leaving a little bit of white around the eye. Also, I think I should leave it, if you don't know about it, but you got a bit of a misspell in the title. Maybe you don't fix it. Oh, have I? That's all right. I'll fix it after. What have I done? I have to have a look. What do I do? So if I go to Stream Manager. Oh, there it is. It's Edit Stream Info. Oh, list. Oh, yeah, okay. That'll do it. Let's paint it now. Okay. Hopefully that fixes it. Done. Ta-da! I think I've done it. I'm getting better with tech, slowly. Kind of adorable somehow. Owls are just beautiful. They are gorgeous. I'm going to draw little rough feathery bits up here. A little bit on this part. Now, I am going to do I have a dark? Oh, this paint's got a white with it. That's really weird. I did not know I had a white, and I've also got a black. Usually, my watercolours don't come with a black or a white. That's all right. There we go. Let's have a look. I'm going to get a really fine brush. Oh, I'm dropping all my doodahs. Don't want to be dropping all your doodahs. Told wifey the other day I wish I could have an owl, and I don't care which type. They're also cool. Yes, we can Google a tawny frogmouth. They are the cutest little, they're an Aussie owl. They're just the cutest things. And they match exactly to the tree. Like when they sit in, they're completely camouflaged. They're magnificent little things. That brush is yucky. Let's not use that one. Let's go back to my silver brush. Silver brushes are just much better. And they hold a point better. You really shouldn't use cheap watercolour brushes for... I can use them for acrylic, just not for watercolour. So I'm just going to drop this in, come around, leaving the white of the paper for the highlight. Had a goog, they're kind of terrifying. This, I'm not 100% sure. I got this off reference off Unsplash. I just think he's a barn owl. I'm not 100% sure. But I think he's a barn owl. And hello, Jeremy. How are you, mate? I'm just going to leave the little sparkle on that right side of his eye. Because we don't get a lot of... Well, I don't see them. We get lots of eagles. I've messed up his eye. Oh, no. I'm going to try and pick up... I'm going to try and pick up this paint. That's not going to work. I'm going to have to go over that with a bit of highlight. That's okay. You live and you learn. See how that's sort of exploding out into the other paint? It wasn't quite dry, but that's okay. I thought it would have been dry. I'm just going to go around the outside edge. I might have already made a mess, but that's okay because life is all about making messes and cleaning them up, isn't it? I'm going to come around here. I've got to fix, definitely going to fix that eye. Doing good. About to play stressful survival game. Oh, which one? Which one? And these paints, because I haven't used them in such a long time, they do react differently to my other brands of paint. Each brand is slightly different in its composition and how it reacts onto paper with other paint. And because I haven't used this for ages, I'm really not happy with that eye, but that's okay. I can fix it up. I'm just going to get a bit of blotting paper, bit of paper, and just try and lift that bit. I'm going to go over it with a little bit of white, if I can, just to soften the damage that I made. And then I'll go over it with yellow at the end. Green hell. Ooh, I've never heard of that one. Never heard of that one. So while I have got, I put my acrylics away because I'm smart. So I'm just going to grab out my white acrylic because I'm going to fix that eye as we sit here. I'm going to pop a bit more orange over the top here. Let that flow down. Quite interesting. Cool. Cool, cool. Just going to quickly blob a bit of white onto his eye. Just there. I just want that white back just there. Okay, I'm going to leave that alone now. Not going to touch it anymore. That's all I wanted to do. Just get that white back. I can go back at the end and tidy up a little bit. Now, I'm looking at my colours that I've got. I'm going to make a bit of grey, but I'm going to do it with brown and yellow. Brown and blue. Also has a lot of realism. Like, oh, wow, okay. So which one's brown? So I've got, I've got a burnt sienna, that'll do. Go burnt sienna. I usually use burnt umber and I'll go a bit of ultramarine, I think that is. Burnt sienna and a bit of ultramarine to make a grey. It's a brownie grey, but it'll do. Okay, and I'm going to pop that onto his beak because I don't like using black paint if I can help it. I'm going to leave a highlight on the middle of his beak. He does have a highlight down the front, like that. And I'm also going to use this grey in the shadow areas around this eye, going almost up to the, I could probably even use a blue, like just a pure blue. This has got blue in it, but see how we go. I might even go back to using a blue because his feathers around his face are quite bluish. So I might do that. Well, I should have made myself a colour chart. I haven't made a colour chart for these paints. I'm actually going to do that right now. It's really hard when you don't know what the colours look like. So I'm just oops, we won't worry about that. I'm just going to grab a bit of paper and make a very fast touch each colour chart. Just takes place in the Amazon. Oh, cool. Grab a bit of paper. And I'm just going to mark out, I'm just going to do each of these colours in order so I can see what they look like on paper. Then I'll put, oh, that's very pink. Okay, hang on. So I wouldn't have known that because that doesn't look pink. I'll show you this in a second. Actually, I can sit it up here so you can see what I'm doing. I'm just making my little very, very fast colour chart. Super fast colour chart. because I haven't made one for my gansai tumbis. That's a nice red. All right, cool. So just pop this here. Oops. Beautiful bright yellow. There's lots of greens in this too, in this palette, which is good. I've actually ordered the pearl set, so that should come in the mail today or tomorrow. So I thought I can do a fluorescent set, so not fluorescent, sparkly one, like opal and stuff. So, and metallic. That was the other one I got, metallic. So, and it's this paint, this brand. So it should be quite strong, which will be exciting because I'm looking forward to doing sort of some fantasy stuff like dragons and fairy stuff I want to do. Because I like their kind of animals, their fantasy animals. Colour chart's one of the best things. Oh yeah, I couldn't live without them. I have a colour chart for every palette I have, except this one. Except this one, because I haven't used it for years. You can see how strong these are too, which is really lovely. Okay, a bit of that green. Oh, that's a very blue green, isn't it? That's lovely. Actually, that's like a turquoise. That's a peacock. That's a peacock colour. Now you're getting there? Getting there. Definitely getting there. Definitely getting there. Oh, that's pretty too. They look completely different on the palette. That looks so dark on the palette. I would not have known. This is a very opaque light green. Very pretty. And this pretty blue, I'm interested to see what this looks like. Oh, wow. That's like Tasman blue. In Australian watercolours, that's called Tasman blue. In, what are they called? I can't remember what the Australian brand is now. Art Spectrum, that's the one. That's a very Tasman blue. I've got that in Australian paint. All right. See, a lot of these colours are going to be fun. And I like the strength of them. I like that they're stronger. My other watercolours, my Schminky and my Senneliers are very, very translucent. Very light and delicate. And these are definitely a punch of paint, punch of colour. We do love a punch of colour. Wow, there we go, look at that. Okay, we're getting down to the last row. And these are quite affordable too, these paints. They're not expensive on Amazon. They are not expensive at all. Get this palette with all of these. So there's 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24 paints, 24 colours for about 40 bucks. So they're quite affordable. Where my other palettes, you do the same for about 120. Okay. And these are in pans. I bought them in pans. I don't think you can get them in tubes. Ooh, that's the black. We won't worry about the white because white is white. So that's all my colours, peeps. So now I'm going to sit that on that side. So I've got it there for reference. And I am going to use this blue grey. That is just gorgeous for his face, for his head feathers. I'm just going to dilute it right down. Bring my palette back into shot. Like that. I'm going to dilute it right down and I'm going to use this beautiful blue grey on his head feathers for the base layer. And then I'm going to come round, fill all that in. And this works really well on this paper too, this grainy paper, because it's that little bit thicker, a little bit more. You see, because I've added a ton of water, it's gone more translucent or transparent. I mean, it's probably the word. Transparent is the word, not translucent. All right, come down and around on his ear. I'll add detail over the top in a minute or at the end. Continue on around onto this ear. Like that. I might even take this blue onto his beak, because his beak, it'll darken over that grey anyway. Like that. What's the matter, Bear Bear? My doggy is being a little pain in the bottom. Little Suki Lala. I'm going to also take that blue. I really like that blue. Under his eye. And then down here, he's got darker feathers. Now, I'm going to do feathers on his back. This is such pretty paint. I'm just going to do these feathers. He's got a lot of light on his wings as well. A lot of browns. I've got to leave the darker patches and the lighter patches bare or vacant, so that when I do add the colour over the top, it's more of a pure colour. Or I'll leave just the white, like that. Come down here. Now these feathers are nearly all dark. The bottoms of these are dark, and then the middles of them are orangey. I'll add detail, fine detail over the top. At the end, I'll add feather texture. Just got to be patient, peeps, including myself. I get very excitable when I'm painting, and I rush, and I shouldn't rush. I've got to start to take time. Now, this other wing, you can just see the tips of the feathers over here. The underneath is light. Okay, so now I'm going to go back into that same blue, but less water. That is not the same blue. What blue did I use? Oh no. Oh yeah, no, it is the same blue. Just wow. With not a lot of water, that is a way different blue. Okay. So then, this is the same blue over the top, just less water added into it. I'm going to start to add a little bit of texture around. It's very fine little lines. Darken up underneath, like that. And then I'll darken up the underside of this ear as well. Or these feathers. I keep calling them ears. They're not ears. Okay. Come around that edge. All right, that's all right. I'm going to just carefully go over the top of this and just pop in just feathery strokes like that. Just strokes, suggesting there's feathers there in the direction that they go. I'm going to go some yellow ochre, but less water. Actually, that's pretty much, must have used it quite thick first time. That's okay. Clean my brush, and I'm going to go back into that eye with a bit more, because this is more of an opaque watercolour, it's more of a gouache kind of thing. I can go back and actually go over some of my little mistakes like that. Oh, and make another mistake, because that's how we roll. Okay, now I picked it up, we're good. I got to it quick. I can always tidy it up at the very end anyway. Okay, now I'm going to leave that alone for a minute, and I'm going to go onto his wings, and I'm going to go that same blue, just less, again, less pigment, less water, sorry, more pigment. And I'm going to suggest in feather texture with the side of my brush, like that. And I'm going to take that, follow that all the way down, just being, always remembering, go the direction of the way the feathers or fur lay. Add a bit there. Come here, Bebe. My little dog's being an absolute sook. He's whining at the door, but he doesn't want to go out. I think he wants Pippi to come back in. We've got another dog, but she barks at me when I stream. She doesn't like me putting attention elsewhere. So she has to be down the other half of the house. All right. So you can see these are just patches of colour, really. I'm going to add a bit of that yellow ochre. Actually, I might even just use yellow. Oops. Got a bit of blue in there, so that went green. I'm going to clean my brush. Go a bit of this yellow onto his wings. Just to help me here a little bit. Oops. Add a bit of that onto that. You can actually, I didn't realise it's strong enough that I can go over my darker colours a little bit. I can almost treat this like acrylic. This might be my new favourite paint, people, because it's a bit more forgiving. I can get away with a bit more. And I can backtrack a little bit. Whoops, so I've got a bit of blue in there, but that doesn't matter. All right, now I'm going to go very diluted yellow ochre. Bebe. And I'm just going to take that down because he's got that yellow ochre feather coming down here. It goes right down and onto that log. Leave a tiny little gap. It doesn't matter if the paint runs into itself. I don't mind that at all. You know what? It just creates a little bit of fun. Bit of fun texture. Now, I'm going to go super diluted, pale blue on his chest, because his chest is white, but it's shadowed. So I'm just going to go this, I'm going to call it Tasman blue, because it's just to tint the paper a little in the shadow areas. I'll leave a little bit of white around it, just a little. See, that's just tinting the paper. I need to do a background because there's no contrast with him. So I'm going to have to go in a dark midnight blue colour. So I'm going to do that. I'm actually going to do that now. I'm going to add this background. This will be fun. Whoops. But what I'm going to do first is carefully wet the background with a bigger brush so I can do it fast. I'm just going to wet the background and let the paint flow around. Try not to touch any of my previous paint. Just going to wet that all the way around and then drop this paint in. And I'm not quite sure how this paint is going to react when I do this because I've never done it with this paint. So I don't know. It'll travel around the wet areas, but I don't know exactly how fast or anything. So we'll see. It's going to drop a bit more on. Oh, look at that. And it should just flow where I've put the paint, where I've put the water, and nowhere else. Wow, isn't that pretty? Isn't that pretty? I'm just going to drag it closer to the bird. Like that. Oops, be very careful. I don't want it to bleed in everywhere. Just got to move it into the edges. Oh, that is juicy paint. Juicy paint. Look at that. Look at that. Woohoo. That's exciting. Just saying. Take that right down. Come down. Oh, see, it's gone down there. I had a bit too much, but I can pick it up straight away with my cloth. That's why I always have cloth in my hand, so that when that happens, I can just get it off the paper. Quick, smart. Pick up the bead at the bottom. They call that leading edge of water a bead. Just got to be careful here. Take it right into her ear. Whoops. Pick that up quickly. And go around that edge. Now I'm going to, because this paint does stay wet for quite a while. It is quite, it does hold the water really well. And it's not drying as fast as my other brands. So each paint's just a little different in the way it works. And I'll do a little bit down there under the log there. All right. Okay, that's actually worked out okay. So now I'm going to carefully grab my smaller brush. And just drag it in right into the edges now. Just to get rid of any little gaps. Come right in. Oh, that's still very damp. Okay. I do have to soften that off, but I can go over that because I've got the white. I can go over that with the white at the end. Now I'm going to go back in. I'm going to use a bit of that same strong, beautiful strong blue. Where are we? Actually, I'll use that one. Oops, and not rest your hand in it. You needed a little bit of contrast. And it's just fun to have a bit of fun with it. It's got blue coming down onto these feathers. Just a little bit. Like that. All right. And I'll go that light blue again. I call it Tasman blue. Pop that in under here. It's got shadow under here. Take that right down underneath. Got to go under this wing like that. I'll drag that out and down a little bit. This paint is unusual. It is unusual, I have to say. I might even go back in with a bit of pen at the end just to add a little bit of, oops, a little bit of something something. Now I'll get that shadow into that part of his tummy like that. Quite strong under that there, under there. And on his chest, actually I've gone over the outside part. I'm just going to add that back with my acrylic, or actually I'll try the white. I will try this white. Just got to get it clean. Like that. And I'm going to come around this edge. Whoops. See if I can. Oh no, it's not going to work, is it? I'm going to have to use acrylic at the end. Just need to soften this side a bit. Take it back and soften it. Widen it out a bit. Because I lost a little bit of his head shape. That's okay. Oh, I don't mind that. It's creating a little fuzzy effect. Just a little. Well, that's interesting. Okay, come up onto his face up here. I want to soften this a little bit and add a few little lighter flecks. See how it sort of fuzzies out? That's really pretty. That's a pretty effect, actually. I don't mind that at all. So this is very much like a gouache, I have to say. More or less, it's not so much a watercolour as a gouache. It's advertised as watercolour. But it's very gouache in the way it reacts. Incredibly gouache. Okay, I'm just going to add little streaks down these feathers. So you'll see how that dries, if it dries where I can see it or not. Down here. Don't mind that at all, to be honest. Do not mind that at all. Around his eye. Do not mind that at all. Give a little bit of the light back. I am actually, I think, going to have to use acrylic on this side. Because I've got a little bit of blossoming going on there. So I'm going to grab my acrylic quickly. The paint's not doing what I want it to do. So I'm going to grab a little bit of white acrylic and pop that around this edge. Keep it soft though. I don't want a hard line. Come down and around there. Bit more on my brush, make it quite coarse. There we go. So it just turned into a mixed media piece. Doesn't matter. We just regained that bit that I'd lost. That's fine. You do what you got to do. Wackadoo, wackadoo. Come down onto his wing a little bit. There we go. And it'll be interesting to see if it'll let me go over this paint a little bit. But we don't know. We might not. We shall see. I'm just going to let that dry a little bit. And I'm going to go down to the bottom. I can actually go over this background a little bit. Just got to clean my brush. Get all the acrylic off it because it's a good brush. And I'm going to add a bit of a stronger brown. I'm going to go into this brown. What is it? I can't remember what that's called. What is it called? What is it? Where's my box? That is called burnt sienna. I'm going to go into my burnt sienna. I'm just going to take a little bit of that up onto the top. I'm going to start to build. He's looking flat. He needs a bit more vavoom, bit of oomph. We need a little bit of oomph happening. It's darker under here, like that. Okay. Bit darker around the actual edge of the eye there. I've lost the white there now. I've got to put that back, but that's okay. So it's a bit of pushing, a bit of toing and froing. There is definitely a bit of toing back and forth going on here. But this is a very forgiving paint. So, yeah, I'm rather impressed. I am quite impressed with this paint, I have to say. I'm going to take this around his neck as well now, following the feather line. He's got a lot of this, he's got this brown on his back as well, where I'd left a few patches. I've gone a bit mad with colour here. It's all unnatural colours, but you know what, as long as you get your values right, it looks all right. You know what, it's a bit of fun. You can do what you want. The rules are there are no rules, hey? The rules are there are no rules. I'm just going to draw some feather texture on the darker sides. Like that. Okay. Now I'm going to go into my other blue. this pale blue. Oops, I've got to wet it again. I've got to strengthen up this shadow under here. Just strengthen that up a little bit. Wet my brush, drag it out, the edges, and the grainy paper does its thing. Once that's dry, I'm going to go around the outside of him again, I think. To darken up this side of his beak. And just up here. Like that. Not the whole thing, just some of it. Got to get more pigment on the end of my brush, just on the tip. There we go. But not too much that it runs everywhere. It's a balance. Fine balancing act it is. Now I'm going to go back over his eye and just darken up his pupil carefully. Carefully. Darken up his other pupil as well. And I'm going to go back around that outside edge of his eye. Tidy that a bit. I need more point on my brush. Okay. I'm just very careful. Oh, gee whiz. Around that edge. Go back around that other edge. Like that. Strengthen those eyes. I've made a bit of a mess. He's looking a little bit messy, but that's okay. We'll get there. He's got to persevere. He's got to keep on keeping on. This is super dark. Down under some of these wing feathers. Got to keep an eye on that because that's fire warnings for around the area. Hopefully there's nothing in the area at the moment. There shouldn't be. Come around the bottom side of the wing. Do his darkest shadowy bit. That's looking all right. It's getting there. Getting a little bit of interest and a bit of contrast now. You can see how that's blossomed out into the other paint there. That's all right though. I'm not fussed. Add a little bit down this side, just a little. All right, clean my brush. See if I can strengthen up. I've got to put a little bit of that dark on his head as well, I think. Put a little bit of it on his head as well. Around this side of it, the inside of his ear. Just like that. And then a little bit, little flecks. Not all the way around, not solid lines, just a little bit here and there. He does have little darker dots in his feathers. On his head. This paint definitely does strange things. But there we go. And a little bit of that dark around here as well. Like that. Okay. Look, I've got to add like yellow ochre around his beak a little bit, I think. Wait till his eyes dry and I've got to go back into them again. Grab a bit of yellow ochre. And I'm going to take that diluted around, quite diluted, around this part of his beak. Wet that down again. Takes a while. You go through ugly phases. You definitely do. You hit the, oh God, is this going to work or is this an epic mess? And I did hit the, oh God, this is an epic mess, but we'll keep going because, you know, sometimes you can come out the other side and it's okay. And we're coming out the other side and it's okay. Luckily, it's happening. I'm just going to add a little bit of this texture down his tummy. I'm going to use this same colour on his branch. It's got to soften up a little bit up here. Let's have a look, where are we going? So he's got grey feet. He's got darker shadow in under where his feet go, but I'll do the shadow. I'll do the shadow here first. I'll go almost pure pigment into his shadow area under here. This is a very dark blue. I'd say this is like a, what would you call that? That's my shivers, I've gone completely blank on the blue, but that's a gorgeous shadow blue. Pop that on his claws as well, his talons. Like that. Come around onto this talon. You can only see one of his claws on that foot. Okay, I'm going to come down. I'm going to use this same shadow colour. I'm going to run it down this underside. It's a little bit more diluted. This shadow area there. See, that starts to give that nice shadow contrast. I'm going to go over that smudgy bit there. And build up that shadow. And that fixes that little smudge, but puts that shadow the whole length of his body, which is ideal. There we go. Right, I've got to do this stick. So I'm going to go yellow ochre. I've got to be careful though, because I've now just got done his talons. So I'm just going to go round his feet. Stay away from his talons just a little bit just at the moment. And go right up to the parts that I haven't painted. That's going to take a hot minute to dry. Go right up to the edge of the paper. Yeah, this is very gouache-like, I have to say. It's less watercolour, more gouache. Okay, come down and around. That. Now, go a bit of transparent sienna underneath. Let that flow. Not transparent sienna, burnt sienna. And the shadowy bits. And then make it a bit stronger. And then I'll drag that around to create like a loggy texture. Like that. Go a bit of stronger brown. Like a burnt umber. It's like deep raw umber it's called, this one, but it's close to the colour I want. Add that into there, to the darkest areas where the shadow is. Like that. Then I'll add a little bit of wood grain, because wood has grain in it, especially branches. Like that. Go to the strongest dark at the bottom. Like that. Alright. I'm going to make that super strong shadow. You get a bit of brown and a bit of blue. Make it super dark under his feet. I want super dark shadows. Just directly underneath him. Like that. And underneath, very, very at the bottom. I'm going to zoom out a fraction because you can't really see what I've done there. There we go. Now you can see the underneath of the picture as well. Okay, let's have a look. I've got to go over some of this somehow. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it. This will make it or break it. Actually, I've got to do his feet. I've got to do his feet. So I'm going to do them. Actually, I'm going to go over his eyes first. So that should be dry now up there. Should be dry. Should be. I'm going to go back in with a strong yellow. Tidy his eyes up a little bit. I'm going to take that yellow. Yeah, this is gansai tambi paint. And I am loving it. I'm loving how it's acting. It's weird, but it's good. All weird things can be fun sometimes. It's definitely having a weird moment, but that's okay. I quite like it. It's a little bit surprising. I'm going to add a little bit of that yellow in here and there just to keep it a bit vibrant. Got to be a bit careful though. Here we go. Using the very tip of my brush. Okay. I'm going to go over all of that orange because it's a bit muddy looking. I want to unmuddy it. I think I just saw a kangaroo bounce past my window. I saw the boing 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 as it went past. Very big kangaroo. But that's okay. Okay, I'm happy with that. That's looking all right. It's looking all right. We're getting there. I'm loving that this is letting me go over it. I am very much loving that. I'm happy with that. Now I've got to go back to the feet. No, they should be dry. And I'm going to add this yellow ochre. Okay. Clean my palette a little bit because I've got to have a clean spot to get my yellow ochre. And then I'm going to take that onto his foot. Onto his toe. Whoa! Whoop, whoop, whoop. Pick it up quick. We'll tidy that up. It doesn't look like a foot at the second, but that's okay. I can go around it a little bit. Take the texture in of his feet. Like that. I will define some of these lines, I think, with a bit of I'm going to go in with a bit of grey. Get it right on the tip point of my brush. And just come around that edge a little bit. Like that. Add a bit more detail into the bottom of his little foots. That. Around the bottom. His toes. I've got to add a little highlight back onto his toe too in a minute. But first I'm going to do the darkest dark. So yeah, I'm treating this like gouache. It's very gouache-like. It's going to go the darkest dark underneath. You can see how strong this pigment is. It's incredible. Stunning stuff. Good fun stuff. Good fun stuff. Having a quick look at the screen. He looks all right. They're looking all right. We're getting there. I'm going to darken up the tip of his beak a little bit. Right. I've got to do something around his outside. I'm a bit worried about doing it, but I'm going to do it. Because why not? It's going to darken up under his tum here. Got to get many different little colours in there. I don't want it to be one big flat blob. Your darks, your shadows have always got movement in them. They've always got a little bit of something, something. So I just added a little bit of more colour in there. Now for the outside, I'm going to add some texture, I think. I'll grab my bigger brush, make sure it's clean. I'm going to go back in. Now where's my palette there? My colour chart. I'm just going to, whoops, drop my paper. That's how I roll. And I'm going to go around the outside of this bird again, carefully. Just anywhere that I've sort of mucked up a little bit. I'm going to add a little bit of texture, just darker even than I had, like that. Just helps the contrast. All right, I'm happy with that. That's looking good. Looking better. Just sometimes you've got to keep persevering and be patient and keep persevering. You'll get there in the end. Let's keep on keeping on. Come right up to the log that he's sitting on. Where it's really handy to have a brush with a nice point. There we go, that's looking better, a bit more contrast. It needed that little bit more zing, I think. Just a little bit more zing. I'm going to cut into that ear a bit more. Around the outside. Like that. Just building up that background a little bit more. I don't mind that at all. Make it quite diluted. And come down this side. Carefully, carefully. Staying off the white where I put the acrylic. There we go. That's looking better. It's definitely looking better. Take that right down the outside. Bit of fun if nothing else, eh? Bit of fun. Testing these colours. I haven't used them in years. Going to drag that down a fraction because it's starting to do weird shit there. So clean that up. There we go. All right. I'll darken up right down the bottom as well. Under the log. Okay. Clean my brush. Go back into my light blue. And I'll put that up the top there. Got to add feather texture. His feathers come in and around down there like that. Just going to do a few little flecks for the directions of his feathers. Like that, just using the very tip of my brush. Now I'm going to go back in with a teeny tiny little bit of orange around his eye again. Drop that in. Actually, it's more like a cadmium yellow. It's a stronger yellow. Actually need to go a bit of red, I think. Oh Lord, this will be interesting. I'm going to go a bit of red. Just drop that round and let it sort of travel around the edge a bit. Like that. It's interesting. I'm also going to pop a little bit of that onto his feathers on his chest. Have it a bit going everywhere. I can pop a little bit of detail onto the feathers there. It's a bit of fun. Draw these lines onto these feathers coming around his eye. That. And then come around this one in the very tip of my brush. Like that. Don't mind that. Don't mind that. I do have to get a bit more detail onto this log. Actually, I'm using a slightly bigger brush and make some stronger marks like that. Like that. Let that dry. All right. I think that's about as much as I can do. I think I might even just go back into my pure white, grab my fine acrylic brush. That one will do. I'm just gonna quickly just add a little bit back in. Around the edges. Ooh. We got there. It's not the greatest. It's not my best work, but it was fun. It was fun. A little bit more flecks of white around this edge. I need a finer brush than that even. I'm going to go back to my little brush. Go back to my little brush. Got to pick this white back up. Just here. Oh, thank you for the sub. Thank you. Oh, just shout out to my mate Stitch. Thank you, mate. That's very much appreciated. Shout out. Whoops. Stitch. Thank you so much, doll. That's very, very much appreciated. Very much appreciated. Every little bit helps and it goes towards my art supplies. So thank you, thank you. I'm just going to add this. Oh, God, that was a lot. I grabbed a lot then. My little sister loves ours. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, they're beautiful birds. They are magnificent birds. And I went a bit abstract with him. He's a bit multicoloured and a bit off, but we had a bit of fun. These are a different brand of paints to what I'm used to using. So, and they're very different than traditional watercolour. Very strong. Super strong, in fact. So, but loving it. It's fun for a change. Definitely fun for a change. And add a little bit of flecks of light down his back. That doesn't have to be perfect. But he's a bit of a wild old owl, this one. A bit of a wild old owl. Pop the light back at the highlights on his little toes. This brush is not a point enough. I need a fine point. There we go, I'll use that one. It's got a nice fine point on it. That's a bit better. Whoops. Now, what was I doing? Highlight on his toe. Oops. Got it. Got it. We got there in the end. And I'll do a little bit of more of a highlight on his eye. Because he does have a highlight there. And there. And a little bit more of a highlight, whoops, there. Doesn't matter that it's a blob because it'll stand out more. And I am going to call that done, I think, peeps. So I reckon I'm going to sign him down the bottom corner. Clean my brush, sign that down the bottom. Like that. Whoops, a daisy. And call that done. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for watching. I will be back tomorrow. Not sure what time, but I will be back tomorrow, and I have no idea what I'm going to do or what medium I'm going to use. I'm just going to go rogue. So thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for chatting. Thank you for the subs, guys. Much appreciated. That keeps the paint coming. It keeps me getting paint supplies. So you're a world of awesomeness, and I will see you next video. Let's go raid.